In this video, we want to know who or what we call irrational numbers, and then how can you determine the number of irrational numbers between two given irrational numbers. So first of all, the idea is that if what is a rational number, right? So that is the question. Or who do we call irrational? What I mean by the who here is that you see this is what a whiteboard marker. Is that okay? This is you're able to identify this thing by image, right? So that is what the image. So once you see this thing, that tells you that this is what a whiteboard marker. Of course, this is a black pen, right? So and then there's a difference between black and a red. So this is also a red. So finally, we also have the blue. So how are you going? Your brain tells you that by image, this is what a different colors of a whiteboard or market. So if you say a rational number, so maybe if you want to go further with this one, what about the image of a human being? So maybe let's say you should be able to identify your friend by what image. So assuming this is your friend, so maybe this your friend can be, I don't know. I wish you can give me a name, right? So maybe you can give me a name in the comment section below. So but what for now, this is what your friend. So you're able to identify this thing by what the image of that person, right? So if you see that image, you are calling that person what by his or her name, right? So that is obvious. So the idea, the analogy here is that how can we identify a rational number? So you should be able. This is what just a number one, two, and then three, and then four, right? So maybe in some cases you can call this one a whole numbers, and then so on and so forth, right? So whichever, maybe counting whichever, right? But the aim of this video is to know all about a rational number. So if you see something is irrational, this is the image, right? It is always written in this form. So let's say one on what on two, right? So always a number on top and then another number at the down here, and then we have a division sign in between. So this is what we call, or by image, this is what we call what a rational number in what in mathematics, right? So this is what a rational number. Any number that can be converted to this form, once it is written in this form, we call it what a rational number, right? So what about this one? Let's say five on four is also what another rational number, right? So this one, is this thing a rational number? In some cases, someone may say no or yes. So to clear that out here is that if I give you, let's say, I give you an amount of, let's say, $5, and then I want you to share that among just only one person, right? Just one person. So yeah, the mathematical representation here is that this is being divided by what? By one. So that person takes all, right? So that person takes all the what? The So bringing this idea to irrational numbers is that any whole number, so what I mean by whole number, something like this is also what a member of a rational. So we can call this one irrational because we can rewrite this one to go over one, right? So anything can be written like what any whole number can be written in this form, right? So this is what qualified to be a member of a rational number. So what about this one? If you have something like 0.5, right? Can this thing also be irrational? Once you can easily convert this guy to look like similar something like this or this one, if you know how to convert it and if it is possible, then it is what a rational number is. Okay, so that is how you should be able to identify a rational number by what image, right? Now let's see how to determine the number of a rational number between two givens of numbers. Assuming I have two and something like three, right? So these are two different rational numbers. Of course, this is over one. This is also over one. Then you will be asked to determine the number of rational numbers in between the two of them, right? So first, here's the trick. So the trick here is that you should add the top to top. So this is two plus three. That gives me a five here, and then that one plus one that gives me a two, right? So this is just a short way of determining the rational number. So when you get here, the same scenario. So this one plus this one gives me 7, and then down to this plus this will be 3, right? So that is what another rational number. So what about this one? This plus this should be 8, and then this plus this one down here that should be 3, another rational. So these are the finite number of rational numbers we can get in between these two given what rational numbers, right? So what about if you have something like 3 on 4, and then I have another one to be, can that be any number, right? So let's say 5, 4 on what? On 5, right? So how do you determine? So with the trick here is that you just need to add the top to top. That gives me 7, and then down to down here, that should be to be 9, right? So what about in the middle here should be 10 here, right? And then divided by on what 1 3, right? So this is another rational number. What about here? This plus this one, that gives me 11, and then this plus this one, that should be 1 4, right? So that is all. Another, this is just a simple trick for you to determine what the number of a rational number between two given rational numbers. This part here, we want to determine how to solve a rational equation, right? So rational equation. If you say something is called equation, that it involves an equal sign. So if you have something like x plus 2 equal to, let's say, 4, you should be able to solve this one, right? So this one, you subtract 2 from both sides, that gives me 4 minus 2, and then the answer is equal to 2, meaning that our x is equal to 2, right? So that is a very simple method. But dealing with a rational number is something different, right? So you just know every country has their law that govern the country, as well as every family, right? So here we are talking about the family of what? A rational number. You should know the law that is governing them. Is that okay? Now, in solving the rational function, or maybe in solving a rational number, maybe solving the equation that involves a rational number. Let's say if you have x plus 1 on what? Maybe x plus 2, and then x minus 3 is something like this. This x there can just be any number that you can think of, right? So any number. So if I replace this one by 1 here, you are going to have 2 on what? A certain number. Is that okay? But here there's a method of solving this one. That is by name what? A partial fraction, right? So partial fraction. This is just a name. The most important thing here is that you should know the meaning of this name, what it does. That is the key word there. The image behind the name here is the most important thing. But here I will introduce you, and then I'll have a full video on how to solve this thing. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel, comment down below, give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying this video, right? So here's this. You should be able to convert this onto something that you already know. So that thing that we know is by the name of a partial fraction. So the simplicity or the idea here is that you should repeat this. Since this the denominator has what two different factors, right? So this is one factor, this is two factor. We are going to split this one into something simple. That is all. Let's call the first one a. The number that will be the top here a, and then over one of these factor, that is s plus 2, right? So we are sharing them, then plus so the second one is b. Why are we having a and b here? So that's why you need to subscribe to the channel, right? So here we are having two simple factors at the denominator. That is why we are having the a and b here, and then here divided by the second factor. That is all s for minus 3, right? So but here is something, because this looks something like a complicated, right? So here is a simplicity. The reason why I'm calling this one simplicity is that I have 1 on 2 plus 3 on 4. This is additions of a fraction, right? So here you are going to find the LCM, that's the least common multiple here, and then you proceed from that. This is the idea that we are using to solve this method. Is that okay? So what will be the LCM between these two people? Is the same thing, right? So it will be the same thing. Then with the LCM, then if you want to know how to do it, make sure that you give me a comment, right? Give me a comment in the comment section below.